So, here's a weird thought. The reason we say 1 kilogram equals 1 liter is basically because of the French Revolution. Yeah, the same political earthquake that gave us the guillotine, Napoleonic ambition, and an entire population reconsidering their relationship with cake also gave us a way to measure how much milk goes in our coffee. Revolutionary France wasn't just chopping heads, it was chopping up measurement systems too. Before that, measurements were disaster. A town 5 miles away might have a completely different idea of what a pound was. Some places used the weight of grains of barley, others used stones, others just guessed and hoped nobody checked. Imagine trying to trade anything. Yes, sir, I'll give you 2 pounds of flour for 1 gallon of milk. Great, but is that my pounds and your gallons, or your pounds and my gallons? Chaos. So in 1790, the Académie des Sciences was tasked with fixing this mess. And because they were Enlightenment types, they wanted to ground everything in nature. Real, physical constants that didn't depend on the whims of local merchants. The meter? That was easy. 1/10,000,000th of the distance from the North Pole to the equator. Simple, right? Just measure the Earth. No big deal. And then they moved on to weight. Now, what's something everywhere has? Something we can use to define mass that won't change over time? Ah, yes, water. Lovely. Predictable, wet water. The plan was genius. 1 liter would be the volume of a cube, measuring 10 centimeters on each side, and 1 kilogram would be the mass of that volume of pure water at its densest point, 4 degrees Celsius. Boom. Measurement solved. Of course, this turned out to be wildly inconvenient later on. See, water might have seemed stable back then, but as science advanced, we realized it's actually a bit of a diva. It changes density with temperature, gets weird with impurities, and most annoyingly, turns to ice when you least expect it. Not ideal for a global standard. So in 1889, we ditched water and created a physical kilogram, a shiny platinum iridium cylinder kept in a French vault, which then had to be carefully guarded like the world's most boring treasure. And then, plot twist, it turned out even this wasn't stable. The official kilogram prototype was mysteriously losing mass over time. That's right, the very thing defining a kilogram was slowly getting lighter, which, when you think about it, is an absolutely hilarious failure for a system designed to be permanent. So in 2019, we ditched the cylinder entirely. The kilogram is now defined by the Planck constant, a number so fundamental to physics that unless the universe itself collapses, the definition remains secure. Probably. But here's the thing, even though 1 kilograms equals 1 L stopped being an official definition centuries ago, people still use it. Why? Because it's close enough to be useful. You don't need to whip out the Planck constant to figure out whether your shopping bag is going to explode. For water, at least 1 kilograms equals 1 liter. For pretty much everything else, not even close. Mercury, 1 liter weighs 13.6 kilograms. Olive oil, 1 liter is about 0.91 kilograms. Air, you need over 800 liters to make a single kilogram. So next time you grab a liter of milk, remember, the only reason you instinctively assume it weighs a kilogram is because some French revolutionaries thought nature would be a reliable measuring stick. They had no idea what Planck's constant was, but they knew how to standardize a society in the middle of anarchy. And if that isn't the most French thing ever, I don't know what is.